Okay, we're going to start. Once again, good evening, everyone. You might probably read my presentation in the wall. My name is Maria Jimena. I'm going to be your teacher during this, well, your tutor during this module. As you read, I guess, I am in charge of a research group at Universidad Santo Tomás. So I've been in contact with research almost all my professional career. I love research, but I know that it is not an easy thing to do. And I also know that when you are a student, it is even more difficult, because well, you are like in a hurry of getting your degree, and sometimes it is because of research or because of your thesis project that you feel like it is almost impossible or it is not going to happen anytime soon. However, let me tell you that research is something that is very important in our profession, and it is almost, well, I would say mandatory for a teacher to do research. I don't know if you have had any experience with research before. Catalina, Henry, Felipe, Andrea?
Well, in this university, we had another subject, but it was in Spanish about research.
Mm-hmm.
So we had like a little introduction about it, but not as deep as perhaps this one is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Catalina, what do you do? Are you an English teacher? Do you work in a school, in an institute?
No, I don't do anything related about teaching. I have a tennis academy. Mm-hmm. So, well, we teach students, but it's a different way of teaching. So this is like my first experience about being a teacher per se.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, me, Felipe, teacher. Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Luis Felipe, right?
Yes, my name is Luis Felipe, and I am a teacher. I work in a school with students from 6th grade to 11th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So a long time ago, I tried to start a kind of research in CIDE. It's a Canapro University.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't put attention at that time. That is very important. So I did a few things, but now I would like to learn more about research, and I know that it's important, and I would like to do research job in the school, because it's very important to change the mind of the people that want to learn in English in high school.
Okay, thank you, Felipe. Anyone else? Hi, Lina.
Hi, teacher. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Okay, well, my name is Lina. I am working as a private teacher in this moment, but I am business administration, and I have a master in business, but in the last year, I discovered that I have a special interest in the pedagogical activities, so I decided to study this program. And in this moment, I am learning how to be a teacher.
Okay.
I am only giving my first classes.
Great, Lina. When you did the masters, did you have the opportunity to do research?
Yes, even I work as a research.
Okay, nice. So
yes,
help us a lot with this course.
I don't know.
Okay.
But yes, I have the opportunity to make a resource and to public. ¿Se dice publicar también? To public? Yes.
To publish.
To publish, excuse me, to publish.
Like in a journal or?
Yes, Javeriana, in the Cuadernos de Administración de Javeriana, and a book.
Nice.
And two. Yes, I have here a book,
Okay.
and this one.
Okay, great.
And it is that is in English. Yes,
Okay.
only about business administration, no about pedagogy, no about this topic, no.
Okay, great. So it was like what kind of marketing research or?
No, like history, business history, organizational capabilities, and organizational culture.
Okay, great. Anyone else that has some experience in this field and research? No? Okay. From your previous class, well, before starting with the topic as such, I would like to, well, clarify some things about the study guide. I don't know if you have any question about the tasks or if everything is clear.
Everything is clear. I just have one question about the test we had to do on the reading and the video. The question, it's only for one chance to answer it, or are you gonna open more opportunities to like retake it?
I think it has one attempt.
Yeah, it does. So every time it's gonna be only one attempt and that's it?
Well, we can negotiate that if you want, because actually the tests are not difficult, right? And they are kind of, well, let's say they have, I mean, the answers are there in the text that you are reading or watching. So, but anyway, I'm going to try to change that for 2 attempts if that is better for you.
It's just because, you know, like it's more about like reading comprehension, and it will be like really good if we know if we understood it in the right way.
Okay, I'm going to do that just now, because then I'm going to forget.
Teacher, did you receive my private letter talking about the same topic, about the same issue? Because I had the same question and I wrote you to the platform. Did you receive my letter?
No. When did you write?
Really, like 2 days ago. When I presented the test, you know, that was my inquiry, because I tried to present, and when I receive, I didn't receive my grade, you know, because in the past classes, we received the grade as soon as we present the test, and we can study and we can check and we can read more deeply to know if we can improve our exam test.
Sorry, who is speaking, Felipe? Or...
Yes, so sorry. I didn't. Yes, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Felipe. Well, I'm going to check that later then, because I don't. Okay, I don't see like the option to just postpone the results. It should be, you know, graded immediately.
We cannot see them, and it's a little bit helpful to see if we understand the subject in the right way.
It is weird because it's you know, probably it is because, well, let's wait, because it is supposed to close today at 11:59. So probably it's because of that you don't receive the answer until it is closed for everyone.
Okay, perfect. Yes, thank you very much.
I think it's that, because I cannot see an option that says like postpone the grading or something. So I think it should be that. If it is not that, if tomorrow you don't have your grade, please let me know. Although, Felipe, I didn't receive your message. Did you write to...
Yes, the same place where you put the message to us, where you say that the encounter is gonna be at 6:30 or something like that, you write first in Spanish and then you write in English, telling that the encounter gonna be on Thursdays. And in the same place, I answer you and I put my message straight to you, private message.
That's weird. I saw the one that says, thanks a lot, dear teacher. I didn't see the first message, but I mean, I didn't receive the notification for the second message, and it was Tuesday. And I have, yes. Well, and then
I think because the class starts today, maybe the other, I cannot see my messages there because I am checking right now and I don't see my messages, so sorry. But I wrote about the same topic. Thank you very much for paying attention to us.
Okay. Hello, Dario.
Hello, teacher. I was thinking about the same this morning because I checked the message and I didn't find your message or why I sent to you. So maybe something wrong in the web page.
Yeah, probably it's Moodle. Yeah.
And I was about to ask about the reading in week 2 because you answered about we have to read the first 50 page, I think. But the chapter 1 is just 18. So you say chapter 1, 50 page in the message, but I couldn't find it, so I couldn't say that you maybe are wrong.
Okay, that. So I'm going to share with you the study guide, okay? And we are going to go little by little, so we make sure that we have all the documents and videos and everything that is there, okay? So let me just open that. 1 to 4. Okay, so let's start with task 1, right? So the idea of this task is to watch a video that is going to be there in the link, and after that, take the first reading and video comprehension questionnaire. Well, this is important. I don't know if you already started with the diary.
Yes, we had a deadline for today.
For the diary?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
But, okay. Yeah. Great. So, well, probably we're going to extend like 2 days more because I want you to keep in mind what we are going to study today. Okay, some things that I want you to keep in mind when you do the diary, and how to start like asking yourself some questions about what you see. Okay. Well, so it is the video. Yeah, it is just the videos, right? And they are there. And there is also one reading for the second that says week 2, read the files, and this is the pieces of research that you can find in one of the folders, right?
Yeah, right, but teacher. There is a full book. There isn't just a PDF with some pages. There is a complete book. So the question is, here in this what we are watching in the screen, there isn't a page about what we had to read.
Okay.
And the book has 200 or more pages. So.
Okay, I'm going to go now to Moodle. And I'm going to share with you my screen.
Teacher, can I tell you before something before you talk? You start the class?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Usually it's my opinion. You know, usually we receive the tests and all the guidance for the readings and the videos during the week. And the teacher usually give us the time until the Sundays for grading that, you know, and you move all the things. So I'm a little confused. Is your own way for working, or could you move the for the Sundays?
Yeah, we can do that. Well, what I did was based on the day we started, that it was October 4th. It was Thursday, if I am not wrong. So the idea was to weekly work on those tasks. So that's why the deadlines are like on Wednesday or Thursday, probably. I talked to the other group. I'm teaching a investigación formativa, which is, I think, the course that Catalina probably referred to. And they told me exactly the same, that, well, usually you have your tasks for the weekend, so you have more time to do that. So we are going to move some dates, okay? And I'm going to update that probably tomorrow, so you will have until Sunday to do those tasks, okay?
Okay, we will appreciate. Thank you very much for your help, teacher.
No, thanks for letting me know that. Okay.
About that, I just say I have the same opinion, but I just say that what's better with you, because in other subjects, the Thursday start the class, for say that, and on Saturday or Sunday we have to deliver a task. I talking about didactica. So some teachers take the time in a different ways, and in this case, okay, it's better to us Sunday because we are working in that way for several subjects, but it was better with you than the other subject that put the tax 2 days after the beginning. It was so hard to do that.
That was exactly what I
thought. Not the case. This is not the case, but thanks for that.
Yeah, it was exactly what I thought. I said, well, we started on Thursday, we cannot have a task for Saturday or Sunday, right? Because it would be short time for you to read and understand everything that is there. And we didn't even know when we were going to meet, etc., etc. So that's why. But now that we have like task one clear, we can move the others up until Sunday, and I don't see any problem with that. Except for the presentations, because the presentations are going to be on Thursday, right?
Yeah, because they're online.
Exactly, so you will have to present for everyone. So except for the presentations, like the texts and tasks that you have to hand it, they are going to be for Sunday, okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, so we have videos for week 1, and then you have this reading that I think it is the one that it is the same one. Ivan is saying, right?
No, it's the second one. That is clear. It's 14 pages.
14 pages.
It's already done. It's already done.
So which is the other? This one?
Yeah, it's that one.
I have a question about that one, because I think the week 2 reading is really, really long. We are not going to have enough time to finish all that. It's a complete.
It's a whole book, but I just want to clarify this. This book is for the whole semester, well, the whole module, sorry, and it is going to be with you for the whole rest of the research subjects that you take. You have to take project, right? So this book is for that. It is not that we are going to read the whole book during the module, right? What is the most important thing here is this. The pieces of research that you have to analyze. Each one is like 14 pages or less, right?
But teacher, wait. We were about the book. No.
Yeah, but
can we go step by step, please? Because your guide is so confused.
Okay.
We have the guides just 1 week, and then the other week another another text, but here we have a lot of in just one file, so could be confused for do it. So to do it, sorry. So step by step, please. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to review. We're going to see the questionnaire. When you see the questionnaire, it says, open the file Reading Week 2 and read chapter 1, pages 1 to 19. Then find out if the following sentences are true or false according to the reading, right? So what you have to read from this book, that is the one that has 300 and something pages. Well, do you have access to my screen, right? Like this is the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you have to do with this is read pages 1 to 19. Or like the first chapter. Like here it says page 55, part 1 is until page 55. But it is just the first chapter. What is qualitative research? Okay? So it's going to be, it starts, well, this is preface. It starts right now. Here. Okay, this is page 1. Then you have page 2, if you can see here, right? Page 2. And then just until page 19. What is qualitative research? Okay, that's what you have to read.
Okay, teacher, but I don't want sounds annoyed, but when I asked you, you told me 50 pages. Okay, is the chapter 1? So I check it up, and obviously the chapter 1 is shorter. Okay, but you show us now in this class how to know that is 19 pages. Opening the test, so the test have just one attempt. If we open the test without the reading, so we're gonna lose the test.
You're gonna fail the test, yeah.
Yeah. So the point is, I think you have to put how many pages or what we have to read about the book in the file. No, we have, and it's difficult to us go to the test to know how many pages we have to read. So with one attempt, we're gonna fail. I don't know if
okay, now I'm doing this here. Okay, so you have, well, it's now, I think, clearer. And now I'm going to change, as soon as I change the dates for this, right? Because I need to change it for Sunday, right? So as soon as I do that, I'm going to upload the study guide again, okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Now, for this one, which is the learning materials that I was showing you, which are the research, the pieces of research, what you have to do is read those pieces of research, and then here where it says group work, that is October 24, well, if we move it, it's going to be for Sunday. Then you have to download this group work Word document, and there are the questions that you need to answer about those pieces of research, okay? Remember that this is in group, so I don't know if you have already organized the groups. I have seen some messages in the forum, but I don't know if all of you already, you are ready to do the tasks in group.
Yes, teacher, I have a question about that. I think you're a little bit confused because I read on the guide that it says qualitative and quantitative studies. Mm-hmm. And it says about those readings is that we have to do like identify the research question, the objective, and the type of research.
Mm-hmm.
and that's another work. For
Yeah.
the one you're talking about the group work, it's about the PowerPoint we have to do on the presentation of a topic that we've chosen.
Now this is not group work. Yeah, open the folder where we're to.
No, that's on the guide. It says that it's individual.
What it
Yes.
says work. Okay.
It says on that one, it says individual, and we have to do we have to read those 4 research works. And then on that one, we have to identify the question, the object, and something else.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the group work, we have to choose a subject and create a PowerPoint on it.
But I don't understand why it says group work then.
Because the group work is from the subject, or from the theme we want to do the PowerPoint. For example, in my group, we chose the study case.
Uh-huh.
And on that one, we have to do the PowerPoint. And that one is to do on groups. And the other work, that is the one that I'm telling you about, those readings, it's individual. It says that on the guide.
You're not saying yeah, okay. Week 2 readings.
If you go on the study guide on the page 4, so everybody can see that.
Yeah, here it is. And sorry, this is not what I am. This one. This is week 2, right?
Go on page 4. On page 4, we can see the 4 activities we have to do. The 3 activities.
This one?
Yes, that one. So if you see on number 2, it says qualitative and quantitative, and that it says we'll read some research articles and we'll identify the research question.
Mm-hmm.
That one, it says that we have to do it individually. And then on the 3rd one, that it says type of studies, that one is the one we have to do in groups.
But it doesn't say individually here. And the
Yes.
step, in the
So
step,
on the page,
the step says, this is week 2, right? Open the folder.
Yes, and it's
reading tasks before October 24, read the files in it. Take the second reading comprehension questionnaire. Then it says create groups of 3 students. Make sure that in the created there is at least 1 student who works as an English teacher in a school, university, or language center. The student in the group created would work together for different activities along the course. So in this one is where you have to start creating the group.
It's also groups, because on the presentation it says individual.
Where it says in which presentation?
Hey, you pass it. Go again to the page. No, where is the, when you can see the orange?
Okay, week 1. Week 2. Yeah, the presentation is individual, like this one. The part of the questionnaire, of course, is individual. But then it says create the groups of 3. Create groups of 3 people, of 3 students.
Okay, I thought the group was for the PowerPoint.
No, it's
not also for that work.
Yeah, the idea is that these groups created would work together for different activities along the course, including the last task that has to, that is the research question that you're going to present according to a statement of the problem and a specific context, that it has to be educational context. That's why we ask for at least one student in the group that is an English teacher, so you can work with that context.
Okay, perfect.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
Okay. Anything else that you need to clarify from this study guide? See, like in step 6, it says use the content and readings of step 5 to complete a charge in the 5 group work. Work with the classmates that belong to the group created. and then get ready to discuss the topics.
Okay, now.
Teacher, excuse me. In my personal opinion, there are several, I don't know, for me, mistakes in that guide, and all it is in order, because you put week 2, but week 2 is about something, and then we have to take some files that say week 2 to the week 3, and when you're gonna read.
Sorry, Dario, I don't understand that part. That you have to do what?
For example, in week 2 we have to do that about the second test, and that if you see the date, and week 3 we have to do that about the group, but the reading say week 2. So I think that there are several mistakes or several things that are in order.
But I don't know what you say. I mean, this thing of week 3 and 4 is another thing. It is not.
Yeah, but you put or the guide say week 2, week 1, week 3, week 4. But when we're gonna say the date, it isn't week 2, it's week 3, because today is week 1.
Yeah, it is because we started on Thursday and not Monday, right?
No, that doesn't care, because a week is a week. Okay, 7 days is a week. So today is a week. So today the diary, the test, and the second week the other test, and the other activity. I don't remember the activity. And then I talking about the dates. Okay, and then you're gonna find the other date is about the group work, and if we go into the files, say week 2. So I think that there are several mistakes in the
week
way
1
to put the topics.
Dario, week 1 started October 4th and it goes until October 11th. That is week 1, and that's why here, right? The week 1 is this task that is for today, or well, yeah, today, October 11th. Week 2 starts October 11 up to October 18, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so the idea, and that's why here it says October 24, is because I gave you more time to do those tasks. Okay, why? Because I thought it was more things to do. If you had a reading and you had a questionnaire and then you have a group work activity, right? And then you have week 3 in the study guide, that is due date. The first presentation is going to be, let me go back here. First presentation, because we cannot do all the presentations in a single session, is going to be October 24 and October 31st. If you see here October 17, I had already thought about handing this task for October 17, but then I said it is too much work to read, to do a questionnaire, and on top of that, reading 4 pieces of research where you have to identify like almost 5 aspects. So I said I'm going to give them more time to do that. So then the type of studies is another thing that you will have to do during those days, right? So it is because of that. So that's why here on the platform, I'm going to stop sharing this so you can see the platform now. You have actually the days in which you have to do that. Unit 1. Well, there are some things that you cannot see, but here, well, for example, week 2 reading, the reading is for October 17, right? And then you have the other thing, that is this, group work, October 24. Okay, and then you have October 24, well, the presentation, and October 31st. So you don't have lots of things to do for a single week, because I am worried about that. Time is not enough, and I understand that you work and you have other subjects like during the week.
Yes, we appreciate that,
Yeah.
teacher.
So if you want, what we can do is change the dates for Sunday. So that would be not October 17, but that would be October 15 and October 22nd, and then 29th and the 5th.
Okay. I think that finally we or I understood. I don't know the others, but I think that we understood. But just don't take me wrong, but advice, put the guys week per week like other teachers, because is everything in just one guide with several things that confuse us. So I have to read several times the guide to understand when was something to do it, because I didn't understand the first time. I don't know
So
if you
you
get the
want
idea,
one
but
guide for week 1, then one guide for week 2, then one guide for week 3?
the other teachers do that.
Well, that's strange, because I have other courses and I always do that. But anyway, I will take the advice,
Yeah, but this
and
is
I will try to organize like week by week.
yeah,
But
sorry,
I
but this is
cannot make, I don't know if I can make it for this weekend, the whole thing.
no, no, no,
But
no,
I
no.
have other things,
I
but
say,
probably week 1 and 2 will be ready for
excuse me. I say this is already happened. I think we understood, or I understood. This already happened. That we have to work with that. But I mean on the future, because if you see, this is the first class, and you took a lot of time just explaining something that if was just one guide for week, we were talking about that presentation on PowerPoint that you chose us at the first time, and not talking about explanation about these things. So excuse me if I say something wrong, but it's my opinion.
Yeah, okay, it's good. That's why I always start a course asking if the study guide was clear, right? At the beginning, everybody says yes, but. So I think that but is important to clarify, and I think now the things are clearer and you can work better, and you know what it is expected in each task now, I think. But anyway, if you have any question, please send it to directly to the message, right? And message on Moodle. I don't know if Moodle has had some problems this week, because I haven't received like the messages immediately. And as far as I know, well, you have told me that you didn't have the messages that you sent me as well. So probably there are some technical issues going on. But usually the platform works well, so you can write to me or even an email. You have my personal email there, because just until Tuesday, I think, I got the institutional email, right? So the personal email is there in the study guide, and I answer all the time to that personal email because it is directly connected to my phone. The institutional email was connected to my phone until Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. So now I can have like immediate messages, though I haven't received any during this week, right? I don't know if it is not synchronized, but every time I enter the platform, there is nothing there. I just got one message today from a student from English, I think. And but that was the only message I got. Anyway, in the study guide, there is my email, and I can have access to it all the time. So if there are more questions, don't hesitate and write to me, and I'll be there to clarify everything. Okay?
Yes, thank you very much, teacher.
Okay. Now, so we're going to start with, I don't know if you've seen the presentation. And let me share it again. Okay, can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, has everyone watched the video about research questions? How to start a research question?
The two
Yes.
videos? Yes, teacher.
Okay. Okay. What did you get from those videos?
Repeat the question, teacher, please.
What did you get from those videos? What did you understand from them? What did you learn about research questions?
Well, we learned about how to create a good research question and what not to do when you want to write a research question.
Okay.
We also learned about the important part of the research study, which I think it was the problem and the question. And also some definitions about the verb, the keywords. I don't remember, it's too much. Well, it was all like in the questionnaire.
Okay, great. So, from your previous research class that was in Spanish, what do you remember about research? How would you define research?
From a problem?
Sorry?
Well, you know, I was saying that I remember that with that teacher, she told us like that every research starts with a problem. So that's like something that we have to take into account, and it's the problem, and it's the start to make the problem and also the question. That's the beginning of a research, you know, and it's the most important thing, the problem and the question. So from that, you can begin to do a lot of stuff and to start to make to start to collect the data and so on. So that was what I remember so far.
Okay. What, well, it could be a question or a problem, yeah, but it could also be something that interests you, right? Like something that you say, what if I do this? How could it possibly affect this context, right? Or a hypothesis that you might have about something, right? Well, there are some characteristics of the research, of course, and one of them is a systematic, as it says here, it's a systematic process, right? Of wondering about things and looking for the best way to try to understand that, right? Catalina mentioned something about the video and says what not to do when doing a research question. What do you remember about that? What you don't have to do? What is something that you should avoid?
Teacher, we cannot do yes or no questions. We have to ask questions that we require to explain or defend our answers. And remember, we have to ask questions that can be tackled in between our page limit. Those are the three things that they explain about the research questions.
Excellent.
But we have to avoid, yeah.
Excellent. That's something. That's like the first thing. No, don't try to answer a big question that is going to take you a long time, right? And that is going to complicate lots of things, because the more focused your project is, the easier it is for you to identify what instruments you need, what methodology you need, what theoretical framework you need, right? So if you start with a very big question, let's say you want to know about how people learn a language. Well, that's really huge, that's wide, right? But if you know, like focus on how do they learn a specific skill, sorry, or at a specific time, so that would be even easier, right? So yeah, the idea today is to clarify all those things that you need to know, what to do and what not to do. And one of the first things I want to say is that you have a set of assumptions and understanding that are being developed through the years of experience as learners and also as teachers, the ones that have had the opportunity to teach by now. And you have some things in your mind that allow you to say the way you think you teach and the way you think your students learn, right? So I would like to hear from anyone here in this classroom, in this class, what do you believe to be true in teaching and learning? How do you think we learn, and how do you think we should teach? From didactics or methodology, or well, classes that you have taken, or from your own experience as teachers or learners, what do you think is absolutely true for you? Anyone?
So I can say something about my own experience, teacher. I think that we have to think first. We have to think about the students, to know what are they thinking and what are their problems, their thoughts on what do they want about learning English. Because we try to do our best, but sometimes you feel bad because they don't pay attention, they don't do anything for themselves. So my question will be that if I am doing the things well, so today I was working in the questions that you require for the homework. So, and I think I have a lot of mistakes, but the methodology should be all the time, most of the time, 90% in English. It's one of my points. We learn a language as our own language. We learn English as we learned Spanish. So we have to try to speak all the time in English. Is one of my points.
So that is one of your assumptions, right,
Yes,
Luis? That is what you assume to be true. Like the language too should be learned as the same way we learn our mother tongue, right?
Yes, it's the most important to me.
Exactly. So that's why input is really important when teaching a class, in this case, in an English class, right? What about
Yes.
Carol, Natalia? Carol, are you a teacher or not yet?
Hello, teacher. No, I don't teacher. I studying. I only study.
Okay.
At the moment, I only study.
Okay. As a student, Natalia, what assumptions do you have about the way you learn? How do you think you learn better?
From mine, I study medicine too, and I can see that for learn best, it's very important that the teachers understand at their students. Learn is confused, but the teachers have learned the teachers can learn at their students how they can learn best. For example, for read a book is very important. Know or learn how is the best form for read this book.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a direct question. What activities do you prefer when you are learning English? What activities do you think are easier and that you can understand better as
In
a
English,
second language student? Yeah.
in English for me is important. How do you say comparar, teacher? Excuse me.
Compare.
Compare the photographs, pictures, at the same time the books. For me, like me, the books with or see or movies. For me, is more easier learn with pictures and movies.
Okay, so
So
you're very visual.
yes,
Okay,
teacher.
thank you, Natalia. So what about, let's see, Alexandra? Are you a teacher or are you a student in this moment?
Good evening, teacher. I'm a student, only student for the moment.
Okay, so you haven't had the opportunity to teach. Alexandra, from your as a student, from your perspective, what is the best way to learn a language?
In my case, I like to practice, and I like to hear to the other people how to speak, what is the vocabulary, and even listen his own experience or in different topics for can learn a lot for this person or about the culture. And this is my way. Listen, or sometimes the way to be visual is for me is more easy to understand.
Okay, thank you, Alexandra. So as you could see, everyone has certain assumptions, certain understandings, and somehow you develop some hypotheses, right, of what you believe learning should be or teaching should be. And there are some assumptions that you take for granted, right? You know that expression, taking for granted?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So there are some things that you consider are not necessary to study because you think you already know how to do those things or you already understand how those things work, right? So the first thing that you have to do is, yes, have in mind your assumptions, your understanding, your hypotheses, but also, be open, right, to new understandings and to new ways of seeing the things that you thought you understood, right? And to do that, the best way is observe yourself and observe your students, right? I'm going to stop sharing this for a while because I want you to take a look at the diary that this teacher in the book Living the Question that you have to read, this one, no, sorry, this one, the way she writes, right? Yeah, well, this is in Spanish, but I don't know, Paola, Jasmine Paola, can you please help me reading the part of her diary, this part? Jasmine.
Teacher, hi. I don't finish for now but I up this night.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. I'm asking you to read this part. I don't know if you can see my screen. I have here a part of the book that you have to read, or well, a chapter that you have to read that is leaving the questions. Can you see that?
No, teacher.
Yes,
What are-
teacher, observe.
Yes,
Eh,
teacher.
Wait,
The
wait,
screen.
es que mi computadora está.
Maybe the,
Yeah, we are watching the text on the screen.
observo que cuando me muevo por el aula, that text.
Yeah, that test.
Would you like
Yeah.
a read, teacher?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Okay. Paola, are you ready?
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Dale. Go ahead.
This is page 27.
27, right, yeah, this part.
Go ahead, Paola. You can read.
Okay, I read. Okay. Excuse me. Observo que cuando me muevo por el aula para preguntar cómo marcha eso, obtengo muy pocas respuestas. Con frecuencia termino sintiéndome como una intrusa que interrumpe sus procesos. También me resulta difícil saber cómo y cuándo dar espacios a las consultas. Por ejemplo, hoy tenía 5 alumnos listos para hacerme preguntas sobre el primer borrador de su redacción, pero tuve tiempo solo para 2. Durante una consulta, otros alumnos me interrumpieron 3 veces y no tuve tiempo de hacer otras breves de contenido. Me siento confundida y sobrepasada.
Okay. This question is for everyone. What do you think about this diary?
Can I tell you something?
Sorry?
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
All of our classmates. Okay, I think maybe she's disencouraged or something like that because she would like to do the best, but sometimes we don't have the experience or we don't have the knowledge about all the things. As you told before, we have to be open-minded to receive all the help that we need, and we have to learn, and we have to keep our heart open for everybody and to receive aid from all the people that can teach us something.
Okay, thank you, Felipe. Anyone else that wants to say something about the diary?
Yes, I have. Well, for example, as a student, I guess it's also a problem with them because a lot of people are shy of expressing themselves and they are not confident enough to speak. So usually when that happens, the class turns really boring and students lose a lot of interest in them and makes like the teacher, she doesn't know what to do or what to expect, because if people do not participate in the class, it's very hard to follow a certain theme. And usually it's because, I don't know, it happens to me a lot of time when I have to speak in another language. Sometimes I'm shy and I feel like I'm gonna make a fool of myself. And perhaps that's why I don't like to talk. So that can also happen, and that's perhaps the situation of this teacher, which feels like an intruder.
Exactly, yeah. Anyone else?
Teacher, I think that this situation is some real.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in Colombia, is I could say it's normal for some teachers.
Mm-hmm.
For example, public school.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe for the process or how did you say pedagogical System pedagogical is, I think, is normal.
Okay.
I think that.
One of the things that I really enjoyed reading this diary was how descriptive the teacher was, right? She was not only describing a situation, but she was telling us how she felt about those situations, right? And she was very descriptive, and if you had the opportunity to read the other part, there's another teacher that describes another situation. I don't know if you had the opportunity, but she was so descriptive that you can actually picture what is happening, right? And this is one of the most important things that you need to learn to do. And it is be descriptive as much as possible, because that is how you are going to find questions, right? That is how you identify that something is not as the way it's supposed to be, or that something is puzzling you, right? I remember that when I was a student, my teacher from methodology used to say, you always need to monitor what students are doing. So don't go and sit on your chair, but be around the classroom and start asking your students, how do you feel? Are you understanding? Do you have questions? Blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I read this diary, I said, yeah, exactly. This is what happens in all classes. When you go and approach a student and said, okay, do you have any question? They just stop working, right? No, teacher, everything is fine. Few students really ask, and it is probably because what Catalina was saying, they are shy, right? So my assumption long time ago was, okay, my teacher is right. I need to be monitoring all the time what students are doing. But then you realize that that is not absolutely true, yeah? That there are some moments in the class where they have to be on their own doing what they're supposed to do. Well, the good students, right? Because we also have some students that they just don't do what they are supposed to be doing, right? And I don't know if you could tell me, well, I don't know if you have read all the document, but from this part, what do you think she should focus her research on? From this piece of diary, what do you think, what, let's say, general topics do you think she should start reading or considering as a question?
I think I will focus my question on the part that it says, también me resulta difícil saber cómo y cuándo dar espacio a las consultas.
Okay, so if you are going to start a research, right? What is the first step is try to identify something that is not wrong, blah, blah, blah. But then you say, oh, okay, it could be something about time, class management. It could be something about feedback. It could be something about evaluation. It could be something about methodology, right? So then you start reading, no? You start reading about that topic in order to make your question clear for you and for the audience if you are going to share it someday. So going back to this, and having in mind that you have to, I'm not going to say give up your assumptions or understandings, because they are very important for you and for the research, but yes, be open-minded to more things that you can find. Then we have to consider this part: time and ethical issues, right? So, for example, let's say that you need to do a research project for for getting your degree, right? In this major, and you only have 8 months probably to do the whole research, right? If you consider time an issue, you need to focus and reduce your question as much as possible, because you only have 8 months to do that, right? So this is just a piece of advice. When you start constructing your research question, think about the time you will have to develop the whole project, right? And of course, ethical issues. Do I have to get permission from the institution, from my students, or from my parents, from my students' parents, students? Why? Because probably you say, oh, okay, I'm going to do my research in my school, whatever, but then you don't have the consent of the parents. And everything is planned to start developing your project. What are you going to do? And you only have 8 months. Well, now you will have like 6 months, right? Because you spent 2 months trying to get your research question, a problem, describing your context, and then you didn't get the permission to do the project. So you have lost 2 months, right? So time and ethical issues should be considered, right? Before starting, like with the question as such, okay? Now we have which questions could be researchable and which questions are just considered teaching questions. And this is a big difference, and this is something that is going to lead your research project to a yes/no question, or to something that you really that you can really deep on, right? So we have teaching questions. What is the definition of that? Teaching questions usually focus on the teacher, on what he or she does and how he or she does it. Going back to the diary, is the teacher focusing just on her, or is she considering other aspects?
She's considering other aspects.
Other aspects, right?
Mm-hmm.
It usually happens when you are an outsider, right? When you go and observe a class, most of the times what students tend to do is focus just on the teacher, on what she's doing, on what she's saying, on what she's explaining, but they are not always aware of the surroundings. Yeah, on students' behavior, on students' questions, maybe the material, maybe the classroom itself, if it has all the things, you know, like facilities, like TV or audio or whatever, right? But sometimes when you write a diary or a field note, you try to focus just on the teacher, and that is when the question just becomes teaching question, right? And it's something that it is very easy to answer, right? When it has clear boundaries, such as yes or no questions. Should the teacher plan all the lessons during the semester, or should she just focus on one class? Answer, yes, she should, no, she shouldn't, right? But you cannot really elaborate on that. And sometimes they usually carry on them the solution, as I did in the question. Should she do this or do that? So the solution is there, right? So avoid questions that include the solution on. I think, well, probably in the research, in the pieces of research that you have read, you can find questions such as, what is the impact of this methodology, TBL, for example? What is the impact of TBL on speaking, right? So you say, oh, teacher, but the solution is there. I mean, you have TBL there. Yeah, you have the strategy, but you are not asking You are not saying TVL is good. Is TVL good for this? No. You're saying what's the impact? And that is what you're going to study. What happens when students are exposed to this new methodology? What happens to, I don't know, their participation, motivation, vocabulary, language skills, etc. Right? So yes, some of the questions have some strategies, or let's say part of the solution on it, but they don't have the solution because you are asking something else, right? And they don't seek answers for very, very, very specific problems because they wouldn't be like as helpful for other teachers as something that is more open could be, right? And now if we compare, do you have questions about this? Teaching questions?
No, teacher.
No? Everything is clear?
Yes, everything is clear. But can I ask you, teacher, are you recording the class?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, because it will help us if we check and we see the class again, maybe.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it says here pause recording, so I guess.
Yes.
Recording.
So as soon as you have time, you can upload that, please.
Yes, it usually takes, I don't know if it is because of my computer, but it usually takes the whole 9.
Yes, yes, for tomorrow, that's okay. Thank you very much.
Rendering or something? I don't know what the message is there. And I usually upload it the next day with a YouTube link.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Great. So then we have what should be a research question, right? What a research question should be. God, I have a headache. So one of the first things, it is open-ended, right? So it is not closed as to say yes or no, but it has many things that we can research and we can explore and we can describe, okay? It says capture research issues or phenomena without judging how they will be resolved. Once again, it's like similar to teaching questions. In teaching questions, they carry the solution on it. Researchable questions don't. They suggest something could work, right? But they don't say this is going to work, but they say how they will impact, or you're going to explore the way students understand something, right? Or how teachers understand evaluation, for example, in your school. But they don't judge, right? Or they don't say what is the final solution, okay? It usually focuses on others, right? When the researcher is the same teacher, sometimes this could be difficult. Because you're going to see that some things in the research, along the research, are going to be related with you directly, right? And you will have to ask yourself many things. And here comes like the assumptions, understandings, and everything that you had. You need to be open-minded to change that, right? Or to say, oh, I was right, and I can continue with this, but doing this and these modifications. They tend to produce understandings, principles, and further questions. It is important to say that when you do research, the idea is to publish what you do. In a way, not only because you can be part of the academic community and start, building up your CV, your research CV. That I don't know if you have opened that. I guess Catalina, I think, or Lina, no, who studied in Javeriana.
Are you listening? Are you listening?
Lina, right? I think Lina, you already have CV lag.
Yes, teacher, I have CV lag in Conciencia. Yes.
Exactly. So when you do research, it is to get your CV lag and to get some a category in Conciencias and stuff like that, but also because you want to share with the community, what you have found, and how those things could be useful for others, right? It is difficult to build up in principles because not all the contexts are the same, and you cannot say that something that works for you is going to work exactly the same for the others, right? But somehow you can start testing methodologies and theories and set what could be, let's say, more suitable for the students in our Colombian context, okay? And of course, they have further questions because actually research is not finished. I mean, we have a cycle, and I think we have something about that, but there is when you're finishing, there are more questions that derive from the main question that the one that you use. It could be related, or it could be something that you started observing in the diaries or in all the data that you collected, but that as it wasn't related to the research itself, you couldn't include it in there because it would be too long, right? So usually they have further questions. So then you say, oh, it would be nice if in another opportunity I could observe this and this and this, right? And it has multiple directions and responses. You are not going just for one way. Of course, you will have to decide just one way at the end. But when you start, you have many directions and many options, and you can just choose what to do with your research. Okay? Any questions?
No, teacher, that's okay.
No? Anyone?
No, teacher.
Okay. So, research questions, and it says here they should be clear, right? The more clearly and precisely a research question signals what kind of inquiry will be involved and what sort of data will be needed to be, will need to be gathered, how, from whom, or from where data will be gathered. So a good research question could give you some ideas on what methodology you should be using, what data are you going to collect. So you will start considering strategies or instruments to collect the data, and from whom, when, how, and where the data should be gathered. Okay? So if the question is, for example, Patricia, do you work in a school or an institute? Patricia Gomez? Patricia? Not here.
Teacher, Patricia wrote that she's having problems with the audio.
Okay, and Andrea?
Teacher?
Okay, Andrea, are you working as a teacher now?
Yes, I am a teacher in a public school.
Okay, sorry, I don't know what I did. Okay, good. What school do you work for?
Excuse me, teacher.
What school do you work for?
Grade.
What is the name of the school?
Pascual Correa Flores.
Pascual Correa Flores. Okay. So let's say that Andrea is interested about feedback. Okay. How teachers understood feedback and how feedback is delivered to students, right? And she wants to know about this because probably, and this is just an example, right? It is not from reality. It's because Andrea observed in her diary that some students don't understand when teachers correct, or they just ignore corrections and continue making the same mistake. And teachers also feel or said that they don't know how to provide a useful feedback, right? So, but Andrea is interested about feedback and how to deliver feedback. So she posed a question such as, how do students from Pascual
Correa Flores.
School understood or conceive feedback as an instrument for learning? Okay? If that is the question, who do you think Patricia should be gathering information from? I repeat the question. How do students, I have to be more specific because she is not going to interview all the students and all the community in that school, no? Fifth grade students from Pascual Correa Flores School conceive feedback as an instrument to learn English, for example.
The students from the 5th grade. She has to interview them.
Okay. Anyone else?
And also the teachers teaching those classes on the 5th grade.
Okay. What kind of research would it be? Quantitative or qualitative?
I think quantitative.
Quantitative.
Quantitative. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 students said this, this, and this?
I think
That should be easier.
But that wouldn't give us exactly like a response for the question.
Yeah, I understand.
Different if I said how many students, blah, 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 or, you know, like.
Oh, I understand now.
Quantitative or qualitative?
No, it's qualitative.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you if it is an action or case study or phenomenological because we haven't studied that yet, but well, at least we can identify that it is qualitative and not quantitative, right? Mm-hmm. Because of the type of question and the type of data that we are going to gather, right? We are not dealing with the statistics as such, right? Second, or well, third aspect, what kind of instruments do you think Andrea will use? Instruments to collect data.
Observation.
Class observations, okay, okay. What else?
A questionnaire method.
Okay, so just it could be an interview or it could be a survey, a questionnaire, right? That will be applied to the students.
Teacher, excuse me. For example, when the students are the grade, first grade, is more difficult use a question for use a question for
questionnaires.
Yes. I don't know when say my idea. Oh my.
I think I understand. So if I give a student from first grade a questionnaire or a survey, the responses will be limited. Yeah.
Yes, instrument for use text, for example, or interview.
Exactly. So which one would you choose? Interview or questionnaire? What do you think? With first graders?
I think that interview, but the oral.
Oral interview, right? So you will, you're going to record those interviews, right? And it is because yes, when a student is and even with 10 graders, if you ask them something Like, do you consider, well, of course, interviews most of the times and questionnaires and all of these data instruments are going to be in their mother tongue, right? Because language 2 would be a limitation also to answer the questions. But the question would be like, la retroalimentación de los escritos de inglés te ayuda a mejorar tu habilidad escrita. They're gonna say sí. ¿Por qué? Uno pone ahí, ¿cierto? ¿Por qué? Porque yo puedo ver lo que la profesora me corrige y luego yo lo corrijo. Those are the kind of answers that students give us, right? But if it is an oral interview, right? And if it is, well, and we're going to study this when we study instruments, but when we do semi-structured interviews, the idea is to have open questions in which we can keep asking students about their own responses, right? So with first graders, of course, it has to be in an oral interview, right? Or another type of instrument, such as students' artifacts, yeah? The things that they do in the class. I don't know if it is text or if it was a story, if it was or a presentation, right? Like things that the students do. But we're going to deal with instruments later on, okay? But the idea is that the research question, when the research question is clear, you can have some ideas on what type of a study you will need and what type of data and how and where and from whom you need to gather this data from, okay? Questions?
No, everything's clear.
Okay.
No, man, thank you.
Good. Okay, so these are some characteristics of a research question. Is clear, concise, and focused, as we have said. Is informed. What do you think this means? Is informed. Is informed. What does it mean?
That it can impart a knowledge that perhaps you don't have very clear with you, like a circumstance or...
No, not really, but good guess. Anyone? Is informed. No?
Teacher, are you listening to me?
Yes.
Teacher, I think that you should know what are you talking about. That you should have a way to justificar. I don't say justificar. Justify the question. For example, if you are researching about a specific context and you have to narrow the question, you should say, for example, that city in that country with that kind of people. So you should give information in your question to narrow it. I think that is something like that.
Exactly. It is informed in two ways. One way, what Lina?
Lina, yes, thank you.
What Lina was saying, that you are informed of what you are talking about. It means that when you pose the question, you have to check the literature about it. So if you're talking about feedback, at least you have to have a clear idea of what feedback is according to some authors, what other things have been studied about feedback, and it is also informed in the way that it comes from a necessity, a problem, a puzzle, an interest. Okay, it is not something that started just out of the blue. You just say, oh, I'm going to write a research question about how to manage, or how to, I don't know, what's the role of ICTs in education or in English learning. But you don't really have a problem. You haven't observed your context, probably not even, I mean, in your school, they don't even have internet connection or something, right? So you cannot post a question that hasn't been observed, or that comes from a real problem, or a real, or something that interests you, okay? Is motivating or personally meaningful? And this is very important, guys, because, for example, if you don't like evaluation, let's say, and your research is focused on evaluation, you are going to be bored and you're going to feel stuck, and there's going to be a time which you say, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't want to do this. So it has to be something that you really like, right? Like designing material, reading a skill, discourse analysis, etc. Something, gender issues, language and culture, something that is really motivating, that is personally meaningful, so that you don't get bored in the process, okay? It is something that has to be manageable and doable. And once again, have in mind the time that you have to do the research, the resources available. So that is something that it is close to you, close to your context, that you feel you can do in that specific time, okay? Is significant in the sense that the value of the answer obtained is likely to just justify the effort and resources that go into addressing it. There are many pieces of research about methodologies, how to teach listening, how to teach grammar, how to teach vocabulary, how to teach. So there are lots and lots of books that talk about the same thing. Try to make your research something significant, something that it is not doesn't have an accessible answer, as it said the next one, but that it is not too obvious that when you finish you say, and yes, you can do this and this and this, right? Because you go through a whole process of 8 months that they are going to be very long, and you made a lot of effort, and you spent a lot of time, and you had to read a lot, and probably have to spend time with your classmates instead of your family, and then you said all of those things that I did, and the answer is, oh yes, TBL works perfectly in my context, right? So something that is significant, that worth the effort of doing it, okay? That doesn't have a readily accessible answer. So how to teach listening, you can find lots of books, or you can just Google, and the answer is there, right? And it's not changing. Okay, these are some guidelines for developing question criteria. Try to write a question that hasn't already been answered. Use higher level questions which get at explanations, reasons, relationships. How does, blah, 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 what happened when, etc. Don't use yes, no question. Use everyday language. Don't make something that complicated that anyone read it and said, I don't know what this research is about. Avoid length questions, be concise. Work on something doable, something you can manage and complete in the context of your work. Follow your bliss. Want to feel commitment to the question or passion. Keep it close to your own practice. The farther you go away, the more work it is. Yes, if you try to look for information about, I don't know, like try to answer policies, for example. The Ministry of Education policies. It is not really close to your own practice. It is not really close to your place of work. It is not really your field. So yes, of course you can do that, but you will spend more time doing a type of research that is not related to your context or your own practice. Okay. Include something that creates a bit of tension. The question should provide you with an opportunity to stretch. So this is what I was saying before about don't do something that is too obvious, right? So something that really pushes you to the limits and that you have to read and learn lots of things from it. And choose something meaningful for you, something that provides you with a deeper understanding of the topic. Okay, and this is the end because this is what a teacher question was. Any question?
No, teacher.
No questions?
No, for now.
Okay, good. So I wanted to do this before you start, before you hand in the diaries, because what I really want you to do is to now describe more all the things that you observe. Reread what you have written so far, and if it is okay, if it sounds okay for you, just let it the way it is. But if you feel that you need to complement more, that you need to be more descriptive, that you forgot to focus on other things and you were just focusing on you, try to be as descriptive as possible. Think that the diary is something as when you were teenagers. I don't know if you used to do that when you were a teenager. I did it. I had my diary with the I think it was Hello Kitty diary or something.
With the details, yes.
Exactly. And I feel this way when this guy approached to me, blah, blah, blah. And everything that was happening at that moment is important. Okay, don't
But
take...
that was for girls.
Dario,
I
come on.
angry.
Yeah, Luis Felipe is thinking the same.
Okay, but I bet, Dario, that probably guys are not used to write or were not used to write things. But whenever you had the opportunity to share an experience with a friend, I think you were very descriptive. Like, for example, you were telling, I don't know, another friend about the football match that you had in the school. Right? So you were saying, no, the arbitro did this, and the other student did this, and the teacher did this, and I was feeling like this, and then I scored, and blah, blah, blah. So you were, I guess you had that experience or not when you talk to a friend.
I got the idea, but when I was a teenager, there isn't Facebook or things like that, so we didn't send messages or things like that. We speak face to face.
Exactly. But when you spoke face to face with that person, sorry?
Yeah, I got the idea. I just want to say that it isn't that experience that I had, because diaries was for girls, you know.
Yeah, they were more for girls, but yes, well, that's the idea, not to be very descriptive about everything that surrounds the situation that you are describing.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yeah.
I have two questions.
Yes. Catalina?
Lina, go ahead.
Lina or the guy? Okay, me. Thank you very much. Teacher, after your class, after your explanation, I would like to change my. I would like to complete my diary, to add details and to try to think more, because I think that this topic is new for me. I am trying to
to understand. But I think that it's difficult to do a question that that could be a new question in this topic, because you told that there are a lot of books on how to teach. I don't know what I'm going to write about questions. So I think that I should take care of my diary, and I should check my questions. But I just start my homework in the forum, so I can do it again. Can I do it again?
Yes, I think you have the opportunity to edit. I think you have the
No, but I can't, because it doesn't allow to do that.
But you can have another participation, can't you?
Okay, thank you. Yes,
Okay.
I can do
So
that.
you can write there, teacher, please consider this one, not the previous one.
Okay,
right?
the last one. Okay, teacher.
I will do the same, teacher.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you feel you need to do it, it's fine. I don't know if you've seen another presentation here that says needs analysis. This is the last thing. Who was going to ask?
Ivan or Dario, as you say.
Dario, okay.
Okay, no one say me Dario, but okay.
You don't like Dario? Okay, Ivan. Ivan.
Don't worry. Okay, the point is that I was thinking the same, so I put my diary on the forum, but I was thinking about I have to change something. But the point is that when I was doing that, even when I was in investigación formativa, I thought that this subject is a little hard to me. So I don't know. Okay, I know that we can change what we put on that diary, but I am not sure about if I want to change, because it's short, but I really don't know what else to put on that about details and things like that. So I don't know if change something or do it that way or what, but
okay.
I was to ask you that if we could change. That's the number one. The two is could you share to us the PowerPoint presentation that you used today?
Sure, of course. I'm going to upload it to the Moodle platform, and as well as the video tomorrow, okay? So you can review the lesson. Well, the thing with descriptions is that, well, this is what we are doing in this moment is called needs analysis or needs assessment, right? And it is when you start considering what things could be studied in a context. When you are not as descriptive as you should, it would be more difficult to identify a question. So it is just an exercise. If you want to leave the diary as it is, it's okay. I mean, it is the first attempt in doing this. And yes, for some people it is more difficult than for the others, because we are not used to do these kind of things. We are not used to sit down and start thinking about our lessons and start thinking about our students and start thinking about the materials that we use. We just go with day by day, no? We said, okay, today I have to teach this and this, and tomorrow I have to teach this and this, and I'm going to do this activity and this other, and I'm going to try to enjoy my class, and I'm going to try to make my students feel comfortable, etc. But we don't really reflect on what it is going on. And if it is not necessary to rewrite the diary, but if you feel that you can do something better because you already thought about something that you didn't include, just do it, okay? The process that we are doing is involves a set of decisions, actions, reflections that are cyclical and, well, in nature. Why? Because sometimes we think we are identify something, a problem, for example, and we start reading and you say, well, this is not really a problem because I can easily solve this by doing this. Or it was already studied in the school, so better read the research that this person did. Or you identify that it wasn't really a need, right? So this is basically what we do in the cycle of needs assessment and also during the research. First, you decide what information to gather and why. Then you decide when, how, from whom to gather it. And then you gather more information and then you try to interpret that information and then you act on that information, and sometimes you realize, for example, that you didn't have a lot of information to get a question, so you go back to gather information. You see? And then you go again to interpret, and then you act on it, and you say, whoa, this time it is better. So now I'm going to evaluate the effects of the action. And again, I decide what to do. So this is basically what you do in research and when you are trying to identify a problem. Because sometimes you observe something, and when then you ask students if that is really something that is not good for them or they don't like, they're going to say, no, teacher, I really liked your class. The thing is that day I was worried about the weather, or I was sad because my cat passed away last night, right? So you have to confirm that what you are observing really matches the question, right? So that's why you need to gather more information. Okay, any question?
No, teacher.
No questions? Okay, so for this week, I guess on Saturday, I am going to try to upload the study guide again with the new dates and with more specific things about the processes for the tasks. And I'm going to change the dates for Sundays, right? So I'm going to leave the forum open until the 15th. No, sorry. Yeah, no, 14th, until the 14th. And then we're going to have the task the 21st and 28th and so on, right?
Yes, right. Thank you very much, teacher.
Okay, and remember, anything that you don't understand, any question or something that you want to improve, just let me know better on my personal email or not, and if not in the platform, okay?
Okay, teacher, thanks.
Okay, teacher, thank you very much for your
have a great night, a great weekend.
Thank you.
Try to rest as well.
Same to you. God bless you.
A pleasure to meet you, and I'll see you next Wednesday, okay?
Next Wednesday or next Thursday?
Thursday. Sorry, next Thursday. I'm lost. Okay. Next Thursday. I will probably copy some of your ideas from the diary. Don't feel exposed. It is not to say what not to do and what to do. No. It is just to start thinking about how to interpret those data and help each other to find questions.
That's perfect, teacher. We want to learn. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Really appreciate it.
Bye, teacher. Thank you. Good night.
Bye, classmates. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, teacher. Bye. Bye.